Hello everyone, it's your boy, Quellen. I meant Haven. So after the success of my last video, thanks for watching that by the way, a lot of you wanted me to go through every single house within this mod, in every single kingdom. All the duchies, all of the counties, all of the baronies. Obviously me doing that would be very time consuming and a bit insane, so let's do it. This video I'll be starting with the Iron Islands. Before we start, let's do a quick rundown of the islands. So we have Pyke, Harlaw, Blacktyde, Orkmont, Saltcliffe, Old Wick, Great Wick, which here is split into two duchies. Nope, that's it. So as I mentioned in my previous video, the feudal system is as follows. The Iron Throne is an empire under Mathos Redwind, wait no that doesn't sound right, under Ares II, the Mad King, and each realm, each province is treated as a kingdom, as we can see here, kingdom tier realm. So under the kings we have dukes ruling over duchies, but they're called high lords in this. Then within the duchies we have counties ruled over by counts, again just called lords, and then within the counties we have baronies, which are cities, temples, provinces. Sometimes ruled by nobleborn, sometimes ruled by commoners. So the king slash the Lord Paramount of the Iron Islands is of course Lord Quellen Greyjoy. We all know and love the Greyjoys. Wait, let me rephrase that. We all know the Greyjoys. Their sigil is a golden kraken on black, and their house words are "We do," and their house words are "We do not sow," which is a cunning reference to the fact that they do not in fact sow. So obviously the idea with the Iron Islands is that it's a very barren, disparate land. It's a bunch of rocks. They don't really produce much, and so they have to raid to make their ships and to get food and plunder, and so they are sort of like Vikings, but sort of Vikings on steroids. Basically the pop culture idea of what a Viking is times the 1,000 and ejected with every drug known to man. So they do not sow because they reap the rewards, they raid, they pay the iron price, not the gold price. The gold price is buying stuff, the iron price is seizing it through raiding and plunder. So during Robert's rebellion, Quellen is an old man and he actually joins in. He exploits the chaos to do some raiding, but he ends up dying in battle against the Reach, I believe. Quellen has had 3 wives. His first one was Lady Sona of House Stonetree, with whom he had Harlaw Greyjoy. Their eldest son Harlaw died of grayscale, as you can see, and we know from the Forsaken sample chapter that it was none other than Euron Greyjoy who killed his older brother, whose mouth had been sealed shut by the grayscale, and so Euron sort of just held onto his nose and watched him die. And he had 2 other children, Quentyn and Donal, who did not live past infancy. His second wife was Lady Asha of House Sunderly, whose children are the Greyjoys we all know. Balon, Euron, Victarion, Oregon, Aeron, Party Boy Aeron. Not damp hair Aeron yet. I'm not sure if her name is officially Asha in the books. I don't think that's canon, but it's cool because it implies that Balon named his daughter Asha after his mother. And then his most recent wife is not an Ironborn woman, but Alice Piper, who I remember in the books is described as being sort of having like soft brown eyes and being very out of place in the Iron Islands, so I feel sorry for her. And together they had Robin, a weak and sickly child. A weak and sickly Robin. I don't know, man, that sounds kind of familiar. Pretty sure Euron killed him as well. Euron looks so perfect. What's Victarion's learning? Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh look, he's married. Cool. Let's hope he doesn't beat her to death for no reason. So Quellen, of course, resides on the island of Pyke, at Castle Pyke, which we can see here. This looks awesome. It's a part of the island that's sort of eroded over time due to the waves, and as a result, certain parts of the castle have fallen into the sea, but it's sort of almost like a mini archipelago where the waves have broken down and eroded the stone, and so the bits of castle on each mini island are connected by bridges and so on. And Victarion himself sits the sea stone chair, made of a suspicious black stone. Is this the fused black stone or the oily black stone? I get in trouble because I get them mixed up in my Hightower video. It's okay though, no one watched that one, so... Okay, it's oily blackstone, apparently left by the people who came before the first men, which is kind of terrifying. There's a very sort of, you know, eldritch, Lovecraftian vibe with the Iron Islands. You know, deep ones and characters called Dagon and so on. He's got the kind of like, I'm pretending to be smart but I don't have a fucking clue what's going on face. As well as being the Lord Paramount of the Iron Islands, he is also the High Lord of Pyke. So the island of Pyke itself is its own duchy, and Quelon is the High Lord of that duchy. He is also the Lord of Pyke, another Pyke. So this area of Pyke is called Pyke, presumably because that's where Castle Pyke is, and that's a county. But what's within his county? So in the province of Broadsworth we have Lord Horgan Pewes. Here we see the sigil. I know that a lot of the house words are auto-generated, so never wrathful, always industrious. I think the words wrathful and industrious obviously can be swapped out for various things every time the game loads. You can't play as barons, so these are sort of, a lot of these are made up houses and auto-generated sigils and auto-generated house words, I believe. So yeah, House Pewes is not canon, it doesn't exist in the books. I'm not entirely sure what the inspiration behind it is. Pewes? It's kind of weird. Another barony we have is the province of Neverharrow, which is a really cool name, ruled over by House Masterly. And here we have a white sort of star on green. It's an 8-sided star, so it's not a reference to the Faith of the Seven. I think it's just another sort of generic sigil. Above all. Maybe it's not generic. Above all, a star. Maybe that's intentional, right? Bit of a cocky message to send when you're a 17-year-old baron. The next county on Pyke is Ironholt. Ironholt is ruled by House Winch, which is a house in the books. Their sigil is a bleeding crescent moon on purple, and their words are, "The blood moon rises." The sigil is canon, the words are made up by the developers, and I think it fits really well. So here is Lord Walden Winch, with his wife, Lady Grisella Ironmaker. In A Feast for Crows, Lord Walden sides with Euron Greyjoy, pretty early actually, and as a result he's given half the lands of House Botley. His brother is Aladale Winch. Ooh. A member of the Night's Watch. Aladale is actually killed in a storm of swords during the wildling attack on the wall. Specifically near the Shadow Tower, I believe. Yeah, on the western side of the wall we have the Shadow Tower, and I believe that's supposed to be the Bridge of Skulls. Yeah, over the gorge. And I believe he's slain fighting the wildlings at the Bridge of Skulls, fighting alongside Bowen Marsh, who survives. Which is good for Bowen and not great for Jon Snow, because he's the one who shanks Jon. The baronies under Lord Winch are the City of Moonport, ruled by Master Dagon, a classic Ironborn name. Now he's lowborn. There were commoners who joined guilds, and guilds would help to run cities, so yeah, you could have lowborn who would be in charge of cities. And he's not a lord, but he's referred to as a master, which is quite cool. The other barony is the province of Red Harbour, right here, which is ruled by Lord Gevin of Red Harbour. House Red Harbour. Gevin Red Harbour, that's one hell of a... Oh, he's an albino. Ooh. Next up is the county of Lordsport, which is ruled by the Botleys, who I mentioned earlier. So House Winch of Ironholt takes half of this land after he bends the knee to Euron, and Sylwain refuses to. So there he is, there's Sylwain the Chad of House Botley. The sigil is a bunch of fish on pale green, and the words that the mod created for them are, "Mistake me not." I'm not entirely sure what that means. Mistake me not for, you know, someone to underestimate maybe? You know, mistake me not, I will feed you to the fishes. Speaking of sleeping with the fishes, this guy gets drowned by Euron for being so disobedient. And the other half of his land that isn't given over to the Winches is given to... There we go. Given to his brother Germund, or Germund, who is sadistic and cynical. Makes sense that he'd support Euron. His children are Harren, Tristopher, Simond and Harlan, and we all know Tristopher Botley. He supports Asha at the King's Moot and is actually in love with Asha, although it's completely unrequited. She's not interested in him anymore. They were friends as a kid, but you know, she's moved on to other pursuits. I assume this is Carl the Maid, right? Let me see. Yeah, has to be. But yeah, Tristopher is currently with Asha and Stannis, because he joins Asha in taking Deepwood Motte. And of course, fleeing Euron Greyjoy. We love our little Asha simp. Sylwain's other brothers are Lusamore and Sargon. There's a Sargon Botley, what the hell? I love how they've sort of given him a beard that looks just like those Akkadian beards from the busts. Sargon Botley is actually the father of Wex, who has not been born yet, because this is Robert's Rebellion, remember? But Wex is a mute bastard, Wex Pyke, who joins Theon in seizing Winterfell. And he actually survives when it gets sacked by the Boltons, by hiding in a tree, I think. And then Wyman Manderley finds him. Wex reveals that Bran and Rickon are indeed alive, which is how Manderley is able to begin the conspiracy to grab Rickon and side with Stannis and all that stuff. But let's look at the baronies. We've got the city of Lord's Port itself, ruled by another lowborn, Master Herrick, and then the province of Shoalstone here, ruled by Lord Rook of House Tidebreaker. The house words are learning is strength, which I think is another auto-generated one. So yeah, this isn't a canon house, but Tidebreaker certainly sounds like a good Ironborn name. And now moving on to the county of Seagrave, which is ruled by Lord Eric Ironmaker. He's known as the Anvil Breaker. So this is a canon house. This is a house from the books. Here we see a skull on an anvil in front of red and black. And the mod has invented the house words pay the toll. I'm not entirely sure about the house words in relation to the sigil or the name. That's a little bit odd. So the old Lord Eric, and he is old because, I mean, he's 71 years old and this is Robert's Rebellion, so God, how old is he in the main series? But yeah, he's an old man and he puts himself forward at the Kingsmoot to be king of the Iron Islands. But Asher challenges him by saying, by basically telling if he's going to stand, then he needs to stand. Literally. He's too old and he has difficulty standing up and his support kind of collapses. Because the Ironborn care about sort of strength and virility and that kind of stuff, so having this old man struggle to stand up sort of ruins his chances. But then he seems to have the last laugh because he ends up siding with Euron Greyjoy. And as a result, Euron names him Lord Steward of the Iron Islands, while Euron's fleet ventures south to attack the Shield Islands and the Reach and Old Town, while Victarion's fleet goes to Slaver's Bay to court Daenerys and her dragons. Again, it makes sense for the old man who's not capable of fighting anymore to be at home, acting as a sort of regent. So there's one barony within the county of Seagrave, which is the province of Pigsmith, ruled by Lord Cragorn, who is possessed. Wait, what? The sudden changes in emotion, awareness, and ability that Cragorn experiences can only be explained by spirits inhabiting his body. What the fuck? He's from House Ironfoot. So there isn't a House Ironfoot in A Song of Ice and Fire, but there was an old High King of the Iron Islands known as King Orys Grey Iron, who was known as Ironfoot. So perhaps the idea is that House Ironfoot here are descendants of this old king. Okay, so we don't really have a tree, so we can't necessarily see whether he's descended from King Grey Iron, but I think he is. I think that's a cool little lore thing. It could be a bastard house, which would make sense why they're only barons. So there we have it. We've explored the island of Pyke. So now let's go to the island of Harlaw. As you can see, in-game Harlaw is also a duchy, and its rulers are High Lords. So Harlaw is the richest and most prosperous of the Iron Islands. And the rulers, House Harlaw, used to be kings of this island. Their sigil is a scythe on black, which is from the books, although the mod has made up their house words, reap the chaff. Fits into the general Ironborn ideals, doesn't it? We do not sow, reap the chaff. They do not sow, they reap, through paying the iron price. So Sigfrid is the High Lord / Duke of Harlaw, and the Count of 10 Towers, specifically. His siblings are Harren, Eric, and Theomore, who are all lords in their own right. Yeah, they all appear to be counts. Nice bit of nepotism there. Of his 3 children, 2 are of interest. His second daughter, Alanis, is the wife of Balon Greyjoy, as we can see here. With Balon, she has Roderick and Maren, who both die during the Greyjoy Rebellion. We have Asher, and of course, Little Theon. Oh, dude, what barbershop did you go to? Jesus Christ. She's actually still alive. I keep forgetting this. That Alanis is still alive in the books. She's just sort of hidden away because she has mental health issues. So it's, for all intents and purposes, she's basically dead, because the characters don't see her, they don't really talk about her or think about her. She's just yet another dead mother. And her brother is Asher and Theon's uncle, Roderick the Reader, who is a very sort of genteel, cautious, intelligent man who enjoys reading. There we go. Scholar, intelligent, brave, compassionate, yeah. He's a pretty cool guy. But you get the impression that all the other Ironborn, like, beat him up, steal his lunch money, that kind of thing. Oh, his wife's called Yara. That's kind of cool. I don't think the name Yara is anywhere to be found in the books, but obviously in the show, Asha is renamed to Yara because they had an Osha. The wildling woman Osha, and they didn't want Osha and Asha because, I don't know, I guess people would be confused. I'm not sure how, but... So they went with Yara, which sounds a bit like Arya. Fuck. Roderick does not support Euron, obviously, and Victarion sees him talking to a couple of other lords, so maybe he could be planning some kind of rebellion. Honestly, it's a surprise he's still alive. He has the badass line where Euron talks about going to Valyria and seeing the wonders of the world and all that stuff. And Roderick quietly says, "Have you?" Because he's a skeptical man. So yeah, I am surprised he's not dead. So we have a bunch of counties on the island of Harlaw. So let's start with Jewelwood. Where's that? Here we go. Jewelwood is ruled over by Lord Christopher of House Meyer. The sigil is 10 nooses on a white shield on a field of red, and the house words are "Count the days," which is quite ominous and foreboding. And House Meyer are indeed a canon house. Within the Jewelwood we have 3 baronies. The province of Jolly Gallows, and again it's a similar thing where it looks like a commoner has been ennobled, and so their house name is Jolly Gallows because that's the name of the place they now rule over. Break your sword upon our deception. Yeah, sometimes the auto house words are cool, other times they're not really. Again, this is a very sort of generic sigil, golden line on blue. And we've got the province of Meyergate, ruled by House Reaver. We got 3 white horns on black, and nobility through the bow. House Reaver, of course, are not canon, but you can see where they got their name from. Not the most creative Ironborn name I've ever heard of. And finally we have the city of Ringby, ruled by Master Tom. We'll move on to all of the Harlaw cadet branches soon, but next let's look at the lordship of Turnhandle. There we go, the north of Harlaw. Turnhandle, or Turneyhandle. That's like iron, right? Iron handle, something like that. So Lord Quentin of House Stonetree. Here we see a silver tree, looks like a dead tree. And the house words are, "Fear no end." Lord Stonetree is a canon house from the books. Quentin's sister is Lady Sonna, who was Lord Quellen's first wife. Turnhandle has 2 baronies. The province of Grey Cove, ruled by Lord Alvin Gargrave. Appears to be 6 blue flowers on white. Break your sword upon our prayer. I guess if he's devoted to the Drown God, that could work. So this is a non-canon house. And here we have the City of Petrified Post, which is an awesome name. Ruled by Master Cotter, another albino. They're everywhere. Next up here we have the Flenches, these islands here. Ruled by Lord Balon Kenning. House Kenning is from the books. Here we have a hand coming from the clouds, throwing lightning bolts. The house words are, "Bring your storm." The Kennings were once bitter foes of the Harlaws, but are now in service to them. There we go. His children are Victoria. Oh, is that like a female version of Victorian? That's fun. Gormund, Janella, and Ralph. Now, Ralph Kelling is the Ironborn guy who's put in charge of Moat Cailin, but then he gets shot by a poison dart. A poison Cranagman dart. He gets all nasty and poisoned and he's dying. And in the books, Theon mercy kills him. Or should I say Reek, pretending to be Theon, mercy kills him. While in the show, he gets smacked in the head with an axe by the Ironborn who are desperate to leave Moat Cailin and return to safety, only to get captured and skinned by the Boltons. There are 2 baronies in the Flenches. What does Flenches mean? Let me look that up. Ah, the act of flenching is skinning the fat and the blubber from a whale. So we have the province of Cloudstone with House Sea Drinker, which is a non-canon house. Another possessed guy, what's going on? Wait, what? Son of the Dragon? What? I'm sorry, what? Who does this guy think he is? Oh, he does kind of have Valyrian features though. Can I see anything about... No, there's nothing in his dynasty. Intriguing. Very intriguing. He probably doesn't have Valyrian features, he's just like grey, but... Wait, he's only 20. He's only 20 and he has... Okay. I'm diving into the lore here. I'm diving into the mod lore here. So he's young, he's got white hair, and his house words are Son of the Dragon. I guess maybe he's a Valyrian... He's of Valyrian descent, maybe he claims to be a Targaryen bastard. Ooh, that's a cool little... That's like a cool little story there. We stan a we stand a bisexual baron. And then there's a Temple of Scuttle. This is the first temple we've come across. The temples are usually directly ruled by the counts. And now the county of Volmark, right in the middle, ruled by House Volmark, their sigil being a black leviathan on white, and House Volmark are in the books. But their words are not. Their words in the mod are dark, deep, hungry. That's quite a cool battle cry. Can you imagine a bunch of these guys charging into battle? Dark, deep, hungry. So the Volmark Lord in the books is Lord Maron, but he's a child, so he hasn't been born yet. So he could be Lord Harren's grandson, or a younger son, because they're girls. I believe some drowned priests believe that the Volmarks have a claim to the Seastone chair, to the kingship of the Iron Islands, because the Volmarks claim descent from House Haw through the maternal line. Let's see if it's represented here. Let's have a look. Up we go. It's founded by Lord Victorian. So Lord Corran Volmark, this chap, claimed to be descended from Harren the Black himself, through his grandmother's line, I believe. So there we go. His grandmother Asha Haw, or Hora. Is it House Haw or House Hora? Let's be honest, it's House Haw, isn't it? So Asha Haw is the daughter of King Corwin Haw of the Iron Islands. So Lord Corran claimed to be the rightful king of the Iron Islands through his grandmother's line, and as we can see, it didn't end well. But because of that, the Volmarks technically have a kind of a claim to the Seastone chair, although it's it doesn't really go anywhere at the King's Moot. No Volmark puts himself forward, I believe. So those are the non-Harlaw houses. What about all of these cadet branches? So the Lord of the Island of Harlaw itself, from the main branch, is, as we know, Sigfrid. He rules over the county of 10 Towers, and 10 Towers is where Roderick Harlaw is situated, who is the Lord at the time of the books. Baronies within the 10 Towers are the province of Harlaw Hill, ruled by Sigfrid Silverhair, who is actually a character from the books. I believe he's the uncle of Sigfrid. Hold on. Yeah, Lord Sigfrid. And his uncle is, here we go, the Silverhair. So Asher believes that Sigfrid sort of considers himself the heir to Roderick, because Roderick doesn't have children in the book, so I presume they've passed away, that maybe they died in battle, I can't quite remember. Okay, yes, he had 2 children, 2 sons who died in the Greyjoy rebellion, so that's these 2. And because he's childless, you could say there's something of a succession crisis going on. Technically it should go to his sister's children, so that would be basically Asher / Theon would inherit the island of Harlaw, maybe. Asher believes that Lord Sigfrid believes that he is the true heir to 10 Towers. And all of these other Harlaws believe that as well, but we're gonna get to them very soon. In the books, his sigil is 2 scythes, which isn't represented here. In fact, none of the Harlaws seem to have their own distinct scythe-related sigils, so either they haven't implemented them, or maybe I've got something that's messing up the mod a bit, that's not showing them off, because it doesn't actually... See, look here, it doesn't even say that there are different cadet branches. Okay, no, it's... They're showing cadet branches for other places, so... We've also got the province of Mockery, which is made up for the mod. Mockery? House Mockery? That's a bit odd. The spirit of the ox grants us respect. Okay then. Christopher Mockery. We've got the city of Proud Ox, ruled by Master Harold, the commoner. And then the city of Threshcroft, ruled by Master Steffar. But there are other counties ruled by different cadet branches. So the county of Greygarden is ruled over by the second eldest Harlaw brother, and House Harlaw of Greygarden, which in the books is represented by a quartered sigil, so 2 scythes and then 2 peacocks, for some reason. Wait, why? Lord Harren has a son called Saharis the Knight, so him being a knight is clearly a big deal, because knighthoods are usually performed within the faith of the Seven. So having an Ironborn who presumably worships the drowned god being a knight is kind of weird, kind of interesting. So in the books he fights under Euron Greyjoy, and he fights specifically on Greyshield, and Euron names him Lord of Greyshield. So considering Roderick has no children, and that Theon is missing / Reek, and Asher is basically a fugitive. Roderick's heir is Harris. So Harris is now the Lord of Greyshield and the heir of 10 Towers and the heir of Harlaw Island itself, technically. He's also referred to as the Knight of Greygarden, so it's more of a landed knight position. Oh yeah, speaking of Asher, I forgot to mention this earlier, but you know I was talking about Eric Anvilbreaker, the old man. Euron betroths him to Asher without her knowledge or consent, which is just a troll move, really. Oh, and Sir Harris the Knight wields a Valyrian sword, known as Nightfall. But yes, serving under the Harlaws of Greygarden are Master Gunnar of the City of Greyport, and Lord Harren of the province of Preenmark from House Preenmark, which is another made-up house. 3 red stars on a gold bend on a field of blue, with the words I assist. Whoops. 3 red stars on a gold bend on a field of blue with the words I assist. Imagine running into battle like, I assist! I am helping! Next we have the county of Glimmering Shore, another canon Harlaw cadet branch. In the books their sigil is a silver scythe on black with an embattled silver border. It's ruled by Lord Eric, another younger Harlaw brother. His son is Hotho the Humpback, who is, as we can see, hunchbacked. In the books, Hotho is desperate for everyone to marry his daughter, basically. He initially supports Asher, he then supports Victarion, and then he moves on to Euron. So Hotho believes he's the new heir to 10 Towers, and also the heir to the island of Harlaw. Because Harris was made Lord of Greyshield by Euron, I guess the idea is he's no longer the heir to 10 Towers and Harlaw, but I don't know why. I mean, I'm sure Harris isn't going to go, yeah, okay, fine, I'll settle with this island instead of this other island. Like, surely my man wants to rule over 2 islands. Within Glimmering Shore, we have the city of Great Harbour, ruled by Master Kerrick, and the city of Low Streak, ruled by Master Harrog. The final Harlaw cadet branch rules over Harraden Hills. Here we go, Lord Theomore. So this cadet branch's sigil in the books is a silver scythe on a pale blue field. And his son, Bormund Harlaw, Bormund the Blue, due to the aforementioned shield, I imagine, supports Asher, which is pretty based. There's one barony within Harraden Hills, which is the Temple of Drowned Crone, which is directly ruled by the Harlaws. of Harraden Hill. So let's do a little anti-clockwise motion and go up to the northernmost island, which of course is Blacktyde, which is a badass name. So the Duchy of Blacktyde is ruled by the High Lord Baron Blacktyde. So the Blacktydes are a canon house, of course. Their sigil is green and black patterns, things. I don't know if they represent anything. The words are Salt the Wound. That's fun. So in the books we have Baelor Blacktyde, who is the Lord of Blacktyde. So after the failed Greyjoy rebellion, Baron's son Baelor is taken to Old Town and raised as a ward, much like Theon being sent to Winterfell. He's there for like 8 years or something, and upon his return he has converted to the faith of the Seven. So he strongly opposes Euron, who responds by having him cut up into 7 pieces to mock his newfound faith, which probably plays well with the Ironborn, who of course worship the Drown God and are suspicious of other faiths. His father dies fighting in the Greyjoy rebellion. There's another Baron Blacktyde called Blind Baron, who's a drowned priest. Ah, there we go. So he's Lord Baron's uncle, it looks like. The Blacktydes directly rule over the county of Blacktyde, which is the northern bit. And within this county we have the city of Black Cove, ruled by Master Rurik. And the second county in the south is Needlefin, ruled by House Weaver. Now, I said most of the baronies are made up, but House Weaver is actually a canon house of unknown standing and status. Weaving related stuff, I guess, on Brown. With the sword I seek innocence. So we know that at the King's Moot there were some weavers, including one guy called Romney, there he is, Romney Weaver, who supported Asher. No, wait, I got that wrong. He supports Victarion, that's it. And then within Needlefin we have the city of Littleport, ruled by Master Eldis. So continuing counterclockwise, we go down to the island of Old Wick, which is off the coast of Great Wick. Old Wick is its own duchy, and it's ruled by House Drum, a canon house. House Drum used to be rock kings. So back in the day you had high kings that ruled over all the Iron Islands, but then you also had rock kings that ruled over individual islands, and salt kings that ruled in tandem, but they were in charge of the sea. You know, they were the admirals and the commanders. House Drum, a white skeletal hand on red, grasp from beyond the grave. That's pretty cool. Lord Dunstan is the lord. He's in the books. He is known as Bonehand. He's also known as the Drum, which is quite cool. Like how Ned Stark is known as the Ned by some clans in the north, because they're all of First Men heritage, so maybe it's sort of a cultural First Man thing to refer to someone as the something, because that doesn't really happen in the south. Like, no one is, you don't have like the Lannister, the Tywin. Imagine people called him the Tywin. So House Drum carries the ancestral blade, the Valyrian greatsword, Red Rain. There it is. So along with Asher and Victarion and Eric Ironmaker, who I've mentioned before, Lord Dunstan Drum puts himself forward at the Kingsmoot, and he draws Red Rain, and he gives a history lesson about House Drum, and everyone gets bored, and his support kind of collapses. He's too boring for the electorate. He's not happy with Euron's ascension, and he's later seen conversing with Roderick the Reader, so perhaps they're planning some kind of dissension. His sons are Dennis and Donal, who both champion their father during the Kingsmoot. There are 3 counties on Old Wick, which is considered to be one of the holiest of all of the islands. The Drums rule over the county of Bleachbone and the Temple of Nagga's Hill. On Nagga's Hill we have Nagga's Bones, and that's where the Kingsmoot takes place. There's also the city of Port Lai, ruled by Master Sargon, another albino. Damn. And the province of Yig-Spear, or Ig-Spear. Now there isn't a place called Yig-Spear, and there isn't a house called Yig-Spear, but Yig is the name of a legendary demon tree in the history of Westeros, who fed on human flesh. Maesters and so on believe that the legend of Ig is inspired by the First Men's fear of the weirwood trees, and the children of the forest worshipping them and sacrificing to them. And it's said that the legendary ancient Grey King of the Iron Islands carved the very first Ironborn longship from the wood of this demon tree. So Yig-Spear is a fun callback to that legend. Could be a reference to the longship, could be a reference to a, I don't know, sort of mythological spear made from the wood of Yig that they've made up. That's a fun way to come up with a minor lordly house using the mythology of the world. There's also the county of Shatterstone, which is ruled over by House Goodbrother, specifically Lord Norn. So the Goodbrothers, like the Harlaws, they're a load of cadet branches. There are 6 cadet branches, damn. And for this house they have created their sigils, which is cool. So the founding house are on Great Wick, but this house, House Goodbrother of Shatterstone, are a cadet branch on Old Wick. Their sigil is the Goodbrother horn, the black and gold horn, on red, but that red is on is all spiky and is on grey. I don't know the official terms, as you can tell. There's one barony within Shatterstone, which is the province of Cleft Tower, ruled by Lord Meldred Ironbreaker. With the sword I seek might. A red thing on white. It's kind of boring. So this isn't a canon house, but it's probably a reference to House Ironmaker. They might be rivals, perhaps. And finally, the county of Stonehouse, which is ruled by House Stonehouse. Their sigil is a black flaming cauldron on a grey kind of wall, a bricked wall, and they are from the books. Their words are, "Feed the flame." They're ruled by Lord Theon. His son is Ralph, known as Red Ralph, as you can tell by his hair. Red Ralph ends up going with Victarion and Victarion's fleet to Slaver's Bay, or rather towards Slaver's Bay. On the way, Victarion tells him to pay the iron price and pillage the Basilisk, the infamous Basilisk Isles, to get some plunder. And so Red Ralph takes some ships to the Basilisk Isles and disappears, and only a few ships return because the Basilisk Isles are a dangerous place. So well done for that one, Victarion. And under House Stonehouse of Stonehouse House, we have the province of Corsair, ruled by Lord Harl Breston, by iron, not gold. I mean, that's just that's some good house words. That summarises the Ironborn pretty well. Again, not a canon house. And then the City of Morton, ruled by Master Hake. Oh, by the way, I think the lowborn masters of cities they're auto-generated as well. The names are, at least, maybe even the characters, what they look like, but definitely the names. Next up, we have the Duchy of Hardstone Hill. Now, this island is Great Wick, but it's so big that it's been split into two duchies, Hardstone Hills and East Wick. So Hardstone Hills are ruled by House Goodbrother, the OG House Goodbrother, the original house, the founding house. The black and gold horn on red. The house words are, heed the call. So the Goodbrothers claim to be descended from the elder brother of the legendary the Gay King, that's it, by the Grey King of the Ironborn. And his older brother was apparently very loyal and so on, so they are descended from him, for he was a good brother. Wonder how far back this goes. There's no way this goes all the way back to... We've gone all the way back to the father of the Grey King, and his children, the Grey King, and the Good Brother. Although the Good Brother is explicitly supposed to be the eldest brother, right? So that's a slight mistake. The Good Brother should be the first. He's the eldest. Literally unplayable. The Grey King is said to be the father of almost every major Ironborn house. So his eldest son was the Grey Iron, and he eventually founded House Grey Iron, the kingly dynasty. Another of his sons was the progenitor of House Harlaw, House Greyjoy, House Drum, House Blacktyde, House Volmark. Literally all the major Ironborn houses allegedly come from him. Whether that's true or not, or just a myth, like Garth the Green Hand, siring half the houses in the Reach, well, we don't know for sure. And then his brother, the Good Brother, founding House Goodbrother. So the other Ironborn houses don't really like or even trust the Good Brothers because they rule over the hills and the mines within those hills, and that's where they get their wealth. So not from raiding, but from mining, which I suppose some see as paying the gold price in a way, and not the iron price. But as a result, they are pretty wealthy and prosperous. So Lord Gorald initially supports Victarion, later is seen chanting Euron's name, but is also seen chatting with Roderick and Dunstan Drum, which implies that he may be opposed to what Euron's planning. What counties are in the Hardstone Hills? And who rules them? Let's have a look. Get ready for some more cadet branches. So let's start at the northmost point. We have the Seastone Isles, ruled over by Lord Theon of House Tidewood. The Tidewoods are not a canon house, but their sigil looks like it was made specifically for the mod. This doesn't look like a generic one, which is quite cool. Looks like a sort of a knotted tree branch with the leaves. I'm not sure, but I like it. The peaceful mind knows friendship. Okay, hold up. Oh, wait, hold up. Okay, huh? Actually, no, that's not true. There is a Tidewood in the books. There's a Tom Tidewood, who's a raider in Victarion's crew. Although it's not specified whether he's a noble or not, but they've decided to take his surname and turn it into a house, which is pretty cool. And there's Tom there, we can see him. The man himself. There's one barony in the Seastone Isles, and that is the province of Ruddy Rose, which is ruled over by yet another albino chap, Lord Erzan of Ruddy Rose. Ooh. The next county is Sealskin Point, which is ruled by House Farwind. So there are many Farwind branches throughout the Iron Islands, and the mod is presenting this one as the original, the founding house. The sigil is a black seal, or a black sea lion rather, on orange. Their words are, on the horizon. Within Sealskin Point we have the baronies of Broken Rookery, ruled by Lord Rognar of House Broken Rookery, and Lord Norfrid of Far All, who rules over House Lynch. Both of those, of course, are non-canon houses. And here we have the city of Windon, ruled by Master Swain. Next we have the county of Crowspike, ruled by Lord Andric Goodbrother. That's right, another Goodbrother. This sigil is a castle on red, and then there are two Goodbrother horns above it. Their words are, acknowledge the command. Every time I read house words, I just imagine soldiers shouting them, chanting them as they run into battle. Acknowledge the command. Please do as we say. Within this county are the Temple of Blackwater. Oh, Hackwater, sorry, not Blackwater, that's somewhere else. Which of course is owned by these good brothers. And then the province of Sperry, ruled by House Sperry. Lord Skytesbury. Skytesbury, what a guy. And another non-canon house. Let's go down to Corpse Lake, ruled by another Good Brother Cadet branch, whose sigil is a brown horn instead of a black horn, and on grey instead of being on red. And the house words are Din, Good Brother, CL Motto, which makes their enemies quake with fear. One barony here, the province of Colt Shallows, ruled by Lord Gilbert of Colt Shallows, a non-canon house. Next up, the county of Deadlock, ruled by a Farwind cadet branch. Remember, there were only 3, so the founding branch rules up north. I don't think the books specifically mention where the Farwinds rule and which ones are founding and which one are cadets and so on. So the sigil here is an orange fish skeleton on a black sea. Their words are bones beneath the waves. Why is this man jumping about? Serving under them are the baronies of Dusk Keep, ruled by Lord Alton of House Dusk Keep. And then we have the city of Stalkside, ruled by Master Uric. Here we have the county of Scatterchain, which are some sort of scattered islands off here, ruled by House Freeborn. Now, unlike most of the county tier houses here, the Freeborns are not canon. Or at least they're sort of semi-canon. There is a character called Roderick Freeborn who supports Euron. And the implication is that as he has the surname Freeborn, he is probably descended from people who are not free. So, thralls and saltwives. Oh, and here we are. Roderick himself. Yeah. Roderick. Okay, so they've made his surname not like a sort of nickname, but an actual house. And here we have a hand grasping some chains on a field of green. As if to say, I'm free, I'm not a slave anymore. Quite a braggadocious sigil, actually. Basically saying, fuck you, I'm free. And there's one barony here, which is the province of Blackchain, ruled by... ruled by House Pisswater. Lord Donald Pisswater. Cool. The term Pisswater is used in the books, I think. There's the whole Pisswater Prince. The idea of a Pisswater Prince is it's a fake prince. You know, it's a commoner acting as a prince. Their house words are, so we can be worthy of... We're just going to pretend that didn't happen. Oh yeah, I forgot about this, Hammerhorn. So this is the county that's ruled directly by the Good Brothers, by Lord Jorald. And under him we have quite a few baronies, actually. We've got the city of Baden, ruled by Master Germund. The province of Blackbuke, ruled by Lord Crom of House Blackbuke. Not a canon house, but the name Blackbuke and that sigil is actually really cool. Their house words are, command me. That's a lot more submissive than I was anticipating. Crom Blackbuke is actually a great name. We've got the city of Brothers Port, ruled by Master Ragnar. The province of Goldband, ruled by Lord Gormund Goldband. Vigilance without greed. Non-canon. The temple of Huskwell, ruled directly by the Good Brothers. And the province of Lurkeep, ruled by Lord Kerrick Lurkeep. He's a chungy boy, isn't he? Look at him. Another non-canon house. Now we have County Cradlewatch, ruled by Lord Crom Spar from House Spar, which is a sort of an oaken cross on blue. Their house words, or rather house word, is simply unshakable. The Spars are canon. His son Stafarian has the nickname of the Spar in the books, and his brother Roderick, there he is known as the Vole. He's a sort of small hairy man. Yeah. And he accompanies Victarion's fleet in the mission to Slaver's Bay. In Cradlewatch we have the city of Martingale, ruled by Lord Uric, and the province of Woodkeel, ruled by Lord Aeron Woodkeel. Dare to be loyal. Keel is like ship timber, so it's sort of house wood, ship wood, I guess. Finally, we have the county of Down Delving, ruled by, you guessed it, another Good Brother cadet branch, whose house words are Din Good Brother DD Motto. Their sigil is a grey man blowing a black horn while wielding a black axe. Ah, this house was actually founded recently, so this is a recent cadet branch. Oh, of course it is, because he's the brother of Lord Gorald. Okay. Ah, so Aeron, Good Brother of Corpse Lake, and Sylwain of Down Delving are recent cadet branches, while the others are older. Within Down Delving, we have the province of Down Key, ruled by Lord Harrog of House Down Key. Be forgiving. The province of Hornhaven. Hello and welcome to Hornhaven, your home for all things, Horn. Now you're probably wondering why I've missed out on a few of these duchies. So we have the island of Orkmont up here, the island of Saltcliffe down here, and east of Great Wick, the Duchy of Eastwick. Well, this is because these places don't actually have dukes. They don't have high lords. As we can see here, the high lordship has not been created. But let's have a look at the other houses in them. So let's start with East Wick. In the county of Axfirth, we have House Sharp. Red and white sigil, and their words are stand and deliver. Okay, I guess they're highwaymen or something? So House Sharp are in fact canon. Harmond supports Asher at the King's Moot, and his son, which one? Yeah, his son Harrog is with Theon and helps him to take Winterfell, and therefore gets fucked up by the Boltons. Rest in peace. However, Harmon's brother Alvin supports Victarion. I don't know if he's officially Harmon's brother. I think there's just an Alvin Sharp that supports Victarion, but they made him his brother, which is cool. And then within Axfirth, we have the province of Trenchwater, ruled by Lord Goran Trenchwater. Dishonourable villain. I mean, for a name like Goran Trenchwater, I feel like dishonourable villain works well. The words for his house are dread through the sword. That's kind of cool. Next up, the county of Tiller, ruled by Lord Harlan of House Shepherd. The sigil is a wheel on black and gold, and their words are, the loyal mind knows triumph, which I think is another auto-generated one. So the Shepherds support Victarion at the King's Moot, and they're considered to be quite a small, inconsequential house, though. And here we have Dagon the Black Shepherd, who is, he commands his own ship, I believe, and he's with Victarion heading towards Slaver's Bay. It's quite a cool nickname from the books. A spin on the black sheep idiom, the Black Shepherd. The county of Fishbourne is ruled by House Humble, and you are wrong because it's canon. There's genuinely a House Humble. So what do we have here? Looks like a sword crossed over a broom on top of a golden chain. Okay. Peace, might, and enlightenment. Ooh, interesting. So maybe peace is the broom, and might is the sword, and enlightenment is the chain, like a mace's chain. I'm reading too much into this, aren't I? It's probably auto-generated anyway. So yes, they are called House Humble because they are of humble origin. Very subtle. They are descended from salt wives and thralls. So we have Dagon and Quellan, and this guy, Quellan, sides with Euron. There's one barony in Fishbourne, and that's the city of Rank Market. Hey babe, let's go on a date. I don't know, I was thinking Rank Market. The county of Pebbleton is ruled by House Merlin, and here we have Lord Walden Merlin. None may pass me unhindered. And the sigil is like water spouts, pale green and dark green water spouts intertwined on white. So his son Meldred is the Lord of Merlin in the books, and he supports Asher because he's based. In Pebbleton we have the province of Herringby, ruled by Lord Lucas Herringby. We have the province of Mouldering, which is right next to the province of Coping and the province of Seething. Both of these houses are non-canon, and we have the city of Pebbleton, ruled by Master Harlan. And the Temple of Spoutside, which of course is directly ruled by the Merlins. And the final county in East Wick, and in fact the final county in the entirety of Great Wick, the county of Blackblood, ruled by Lord Stefarian Salt. He's got a bunch of kids. Yo, hold on a sec, let me just, I'm busy right now. So House Salt are not technically canon, but in the past there was a lad known as Sam Salt, who claimed to be the rightful lord of the Iron Islands after the death of Dalton Greyjoy, the Red Kraken. He specifically claimed to be descended from House Hoare, so let's check that out. So first off we have a golden ship with 4 diamonds, I guess they're meant to be rocks of salt, on a field of black, and their words are, we bleed black, which is cool. 2 houses, yeah, House Hoare, so they're a cadet branch of House Hoare. So here we go, we have King Harold Hoare, King Harold II, and his son Horgan Hoare, who had a son Siegfried Salt, and based on the surname we can assume he's a bastard son. And then we go down that line until we find Sam Salt himself. Within the county of Black Blood we have the province of Demon's Bump. Okay, be calm. Running into battle, be calm. Raiding the villagers, be calm. Smashing the Lannister fleet, like, be calm. I don't think I need to mention that's not canon. And then the province of Hoare Castle. Oh, that's cool. Which of course is directly ruled by House Salt. Now we have the island of Orkmont, which, as I've said before, does not have a High Lord at the moment. Yes, the Cods are a bit of a meme because, like, no one likes them. They're considered to be cowardly and craven, and incestuous, and the women are all wanton. They've also got a really stupid name, and yeah, House Cod. Nice. Their sigil appears to be a white cod or a silver cod on black. Their house words are quite literally, though all men do despise us. So we know of 2 cods in the books. Tom Cod, this guy, is known as Bloodless Tom. I'm not sure why. Actually, he's pale as fuck, maybe that's why. And he's part of Victarion's fleet sailing to Slaver's Bay. And there's also Left Hand Lucas Cod. Let's hunt for him. There he is. Left Hand Lucas Cod. A treacherous villain. Sadistic, lustful, yeah, that makes sense. So this guy sides with Euron, and he helps Euron attack the Shield Islands. He celebrates the defeat of the islands on Oakenshield, and he ends up forcing himself on one of the daughters of Lord Hewitt of Oakenshield. A couple of baronies in Greygrave. We have the Temple of Clay Chest, ruled by the Cods, and the province of Cod Hall, ruled by Lord Wolfgar. On the east we have the county of Trawling, ruled by House Netley. House Netley are a canon house. They attend the Kingsmoot, and their sigil is a blue net on white. The cunning mind knows honour, and under them is the barony of Oakenshaw, ruled by Harlaw of Oakenshaw. Next we have the county of Nettlemont, ruled by House Tawny, which is a canon house. What is this sigil? It's like red nettles, but it kind of looks like they're on a whip, like a cat o' nine tails. So is it like a nettle whip? The house words are scourged of weakness, so that kind of... Is it like a self-flagellation thing, or like a bosun thing? Little Lenwood Tawny. He grows up to become a Victarion enjoyer. He is also a fiddler. He plays the fiddle. Yeah. Fun fact. In Nettlemont we have the province of Bloodleaf, ruled by Lord Oras Rothbone. Looks like 3 red dogs, I guess. The province of Gallywood, ruled by Lord Bormund Goodbrother. Oh my god, another Goodbrother. The Rothbones aren't canon, but I really like the name. It sounds like a proper Westerosi name, doesn't it? Rothbone. The city of Nettleton is ruled by Master Drennan. And the province of Gallywood is ruled by a Goodbrother cadet branch. Yeah, so it's not mentioned specifically where they rule in the books, but it is said that there is a branch of the Goodbrothers on Orkmont. Here we have Lord Bormund. And finally, we have the county of Orkwood, ruled by Lord Orrock Orkwood. On our backs... What? In the books, Alan Orkwood is the lord, and he supports Euron. Under the Orkwoods, we have the barony of Oldwood, ruled by Lord Dalton Breakiron. They are not canon. And the barony of Pinehall, ruled by... Oh my god. Another one? Yo, is this a cadet branch? Lord Urek Pisswater of Pinehall. That's one hell of a name. I assume this has to be a kind of an autofill, right? For some of the houses where they haven't come up with a name. Who knows, maybe they're just 2 individual unrelated houses called Pisswater. And at last we have the island of Saltcliffe, which is a duchy, but it has no High Lord. The county of Saltcliffe itself, ruled by Lord Dalton of House Saltcliffe. What looks like a 9-headed black snake on white, ever watchful. And they are a canon house. Not Dalton, but there he is. His son... Oh wait. There's a Lord Saltcliffe who supports Euron, but his name is Donal. Let's see if we can't find him. Oh, okay, there he is. He's a grandson. So young Donal Saltcliffe supports Euron Greyjoy. And they have 1 barony, the province of Salt End. Oh my god. You beautiful man. This is Lord Theron of Salt End, which is not a canon house. The spirit of the... Okay, what's going on here? What is this? Why does he have... Why does he have pink hair? Why is his motto, the spirit of the hippopotamus grants us compassion? You know what? Fuck it. No! So yeah, this isn't canon. I'd love to know why there's a minor Ironborn Baron with pink hair. Hey, maybe it's Tyroshi Dai. Maybe maybe that's it. He's Tyroshi. Maybe he's a mercenary or something, or a pirate. The other county is Bloatstone, which is ruled by House Sunderly, another canon house from the books. Their sigil is a drowned man being nibbled at by fish. Their words are, dread the drowned. So Lord Kenned Sunderly's sister was Asher, the second wife of Quellon, and the father of Balon, Euron, and Victarion, and that lot. The baronies of Bloatstone include the province of Fetid Hold, ruled by Lord Halleck Darken, not to be confused with House Dark or House Darklyn. Renowned Forgiveness Trust, they are not canon. And then the Temple of Saltford is ruled by the Sunderlys. So So there we have it. All of the Iron. Hold on a second, I missed one, did I? Yeah, you thought I was going to forget about the weird one. Over to the west. The far edge of the map. Here we go. Lonely Light. So the story behind Lonely Light is that 1,000 years ago, or some bullshit number, a bunch of Ironborn were swept off course and swept off into the west. And they washed up on this tiny bit of rock. And the captain built a tower and declared it to be Lonely Light. And made himself the lord. And that man was Albert Einstein. Wait, no. That man was a Farwind. I think that's why they've made this house a cadet branch and not the main Farwind house. Because presumably the captain was a Farwind captain who then made his own house. It doesn't really make sense if the founding house is like this isolated, insular family. And then their cadet branch is somehow spawned over here. Their sigil is a black ship on a black sea in front of kind of like a red sun. Their words are wayward but never lost. So the Farwinds of Lonely Light are considered to be a sort of a bunch of weirdos, basically. Like a really strange family. Some say that they sleep with seals. Others claim that they're skin changers. So I guess they kind of have a reputation for like being the weird, inbred, isolated people in the corner. And as we can see here, he has the trait lunatic. So the Lord is Gilbert Farwind, and he actually puts himself forward during the Kingsmoot. So he's the final contestant, the others being Asher, Victarion, later Euron, Dunstan Drum, Eric Ironmaker. So you have Gilbert Farwind, who comes in and promises a land of milk and honey. He promises to lead the Ironborn to a land without winter, beyond the Sunset Sea, where every man will be a king and every woman will be a queen and so on. He's quickly dismissed because people are like, what are you talking about? So there is only one county, the entire island. It's a duchy and a county, and it's all ruled by the Farwinds. So there we have it. Every single house within the Iron Islands in the Game of Thrones mod for CK3. See, this actually took a bit of research, and I went for this one first because it's the least amount of houses. It's the smallest one. How long is it going to take us to get through the rest of this? Wait, hold on, that needs to be more dramatic. How long is it going to take us to get through the rest of this? Oh boy. So, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments which kingdom I should do next. Should I do the Westerland? Should I do Dawn? Should I do the Vale? Should I do the North? Like I said, I'm going to explore every single duchy, every county, every barony, and what their origins are, whether they're canon, completely made up, inspired by stuff, who knows. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and check out my other videos. I've got a lot more CK3 videos coming, and I have a lot more animated lore coming as well. Thanks for watching.